After that, we have views. So the view in the model view controller concept is responsible for defining and rendering the UI. So the SAP UI5, it supports the predefined view types. So there are 4 predefined view types which are available, that is my XML view, JSON view, JS view and the HTML view. So although the XML and JSON notation has been introduced for the SAP UI5 UI controls, the model view controller concept is also supported to facilitate the traditional programmatic UI constructions. So the XML view, it is the user interface is defined in an XML file or the string. The XML view type supports a mix of XML and the plain HTML. After that, we have the JSON view. The user interface is defined in a file or the string in the JSON format. In the JS view, the user interface is constructed in a traditional manner. In the HTML view, the user interface is defined in an HTML file or the string. So these view types, they are offered for the selection as view options in the application creation wizard. So if we are use the SAP UI5 application development tools, we can also plug in other view types. So for defining the other or the custom view types, we extend the base class, which is SAP UI Core MVC view class. So a JS view is one of the predefined view types that are available in the SAP UI5. So we create a JS, that is my JavaScript view, in the same way as a controller, and we use the suffix .view.js for the file. SAP UI5, it provides the 2 default methods for the implementation of the JS view, that is the get controller name, which specifies the controller belonging to this view. If this method is not implemented or returns null, the view has no controller. Then we have the create content. So it called the initially once after the controller has been instantiated. So this method is used to create the UI. As the method knows the controller, it can directly attach the event handlers. Then the XML view is one of the again the predefined view types which is available in SAP UI5. So the XML view type is defined in an XML file. So the file name either ends with the .view.xml or as an XML string. The file name and the folder structure together specify the name of the view that equals the SAP UI5 module name within the require or the declare concept. Then the JSON view, it is again the predefined one. The JSON view type is defined in a file. The file name has to either end with .view.json or as a JSON string. The file name and the folder structure together specify the name of the view that equals the SAP UI5 module name within the modularization concept. Then the HTML view is defined by declarative HTML. Like the declarative support, the HTML view supports the embedded HTML. The view file ends with the view.html like myview.view.html. So these are the 4 predefined type of views which exist in my MVC model. After that, we have the controllers. So SAP UI5 uses the controller to separate the view logic from the model logic. The methods which are used for controlling the data flow are implemented in the controller. So like SAP UI5, they provides the predefined lifecycle hooks for the implementation. So we can add the event handlers or the other functions to the controller, and the controller can fire the events for which the other controllers or the entities they can register. So the SAP UI5, it provides the following lifecycle hooks, that is on init, which is called when a view is instantiated with and its control have already been created. So it is used to modify the view because it is displayed to bind the event handlers and do other one-time initialization. Then we have on exit. So it is called when the view is destroyed, used to free the resources and finalize the activities. Then we have on after rendering. So this is called when the view has been rendered and therefore its HTML is part of the document. It is used to do the post-rendering manipulations of the HTML. SAP UI5 controls get this hook after being rendered. Then we have on before rendering. So it is invoked before the controller view is re-rendered and not before the first rendering. So the use is that on init for invoking the hook before the first rendering. So in addition to the lifecycle hooks, a controller can define the additional methods that serve as the event handlers or the additional functionality offered by the controller. Then we have the UI5 control libraries. So SAP UI5, it provides a set of JavaScript and CSS libraries which can be combined in an application using the combinations like which are outlined in this slide. That is my sap.ui.commons. It includes the bread and butter controls like the text field, button. Then we have the SAP UI UX3, which includes the UX3 patterns mainly available in the gold reflection design, and the example of it is a shell. Then we have the SAP UI table, which includes the table control, and the SAP.m, which includes the controls for the mobile devices. So the SAP.m library is currently the leading library for the SAP UI5 application development, and it can also be used for the desktop applications. So we can combine it with other compatible libraries as as we can see in the table. So the respective resource handler, they automatically handles the way in which the libraries are embedded into our application. So my SAP.m, it is a library with the control specialized for the mobile devices. SAP.makit, which is the SAP UI5 library, which contains the makit charts. Then we have the SAP UI Commons, which is a common library for the standard controls. Then we have the SAP UI UX3, which is a library with the controls that implement the SAP user experience. Then we have the SAP.viz, which is the library containing the chart controls based on the Viz charting library. So these are the supported library combinations which we have. That is my SAP UI Commons and SAP UI UX3. It can be used together with the SAP UI Core, SAP UI Unified, SAP UI Table and SAP UI Layout, but they are not supported in combination with any of the other libraries. Similarly, my SAP UI Core, SAP UI Layout and SAP UI Unified, they can be combined with all other libraries. My SAP Viz, it can be combined with all the other libraries. SAP.m, it can be combined with SAP.ui.table, SAP.ui.layout, SAP.ui.unified, then the SAP.viz and the SAP.suite. Then my sap.ui.commons and my sap.ui.table, my sap.ui.ux3, sap.ui.rich text editor and the SAP UI suite, they can be combined with the each other. Then at last we have the sap.uiext.inbox. After that we have the HTML5. So what is the HTML5? So these are the web technologies. That is, first of all, we have the technology which is my HTML or HTML5. So the role here is the markup language, page content, semantics of the page. So examples for this are the headings, paragraph sections, headers, footers, article hyperlinks, and the buttons. After that, we have the CSS or the CSS3. So it is an annotation language, page style, and appearance of the page. So these are the three roles for which we can use the CSS or CSS3. So the examples of it are the font style, size, and the color layout of the semantic blocks, transitions, and the animations. After that, we have the JavaScript. So JavaScript is basically my programming language. The roles for it are to define my programming language, the page dynamics, and the behavior of the page. So the examples of it includes the pop-up windows, event handlers for the buttons, DOM manipulation, and then the Ajax and the related techniques. Then we have the jQuery and the jQuery UI. So the JavaScript libraries, they are used for the JavaScript libraries, best practice solutions, and the domain specific language. So the examples of it are like streamlining of the common task, then the reusable UI blocks, and the browser independency. So these are the basic 4 web technologies which we are having in the market. Now, what is HTML5? So the next generation of HTML superseding the HTML 4.01, XHTML 1.0, and the XHTML 1.1. So basically my HTML5 is the next generation of all these. After that, it standardizes the features of the web platform. It is designed to be cross-platform like its predecessors. Then it defines the new tags and the markup, describes the new JavaScript APIs. After that, it deprecates or redefines some or so for common elements. It is supported to a wide extent by the latest versions of Opera, then the Chrome, Firefox, and to a lesser extent by the IE9. Now what does my HTML5 contains? So it contains the following classes, that is my semantics, like the example of it can be giving the meaning to a structure or the data driven web. After that, we have the offline and the storage. So it is for the local storage, IndexedDB, or the file API. Then we have the device access, that is my geolocation, audio video input access. So these are the examples of my device access. After that, we have the connectivity. So for this, we have the WebSockets, pushing data from the client. Then we have the multimedia class, which is used for the audio and video, are the first class citizens in the HTML5. Then we have the 3D and the graphics and the effects, which can be used as SVG, Canvas, WebGL, and the CSS3 3D. Then for the performance and integration, the examples for this are the web workers or the XML HTTP requests too. Then the CSS3. So it is the wide range of stylization and the effects, enhancing the web app without sacrificing our semantic structure or the performance. Then we have the CSS3, that is connecting the style sheets to the HTML. So here we can see that how we can connect the CSS to our HTML sheets. Then we have the basic selectors. So here are the few basic selectors in my HTML5. So the first one is the universal selector. So the universal selector is an asterisk. It is like a wildcard and matches all the element types in the document. Then the type selector. So the type selector is for the body or the footer. After that, we have the ID selector. So the ID selector, it works on the value of the ID attributes. Then we have the class selector. So the class selector, it matches on the value of the class attributes. Then the descendant selector, a descendant selector of the form AB matches when an element B is an arbitrary descendant of some ancestor element A. So this is the end of this session. So in this session, we discussed about the MVC model. We discussed about what is SAP UI5, then the basic concepts of the HTML5, like what are the different view types we have, what are the different models we have. Then in the HTML5, what are the different type of selectors. So this is the end of this session. Thank you.